Introduction. Welcome to the United Nations Police English Language Assessment. This assessment consists of two parts, the reading comprehension and the audio comprehension. The instructions to both parts will be clearly explained before we commence. The use of any computer devices, microphones, books, external notes, or assistance from others is not permitted. We expect full compliance and good conduct during this test. Any candidates who fail to observe appropriate conduct will be excluded from the assessment process, and the incident will be communicated in writing to the authorities of the member state concerned and to the SAAT coordinator in the UN Police Division. Part 1 is the reading comprehension. You will be given a mission-related story with a question and answer sheet which contains 10 questions related to the key facts of the story. You will also be given a blank sheet of paper for your note-taking. Any notes that you take on the blank sheet you are allowed to keep throughout the exam. Read the text very carefully. You may write on the test as you wish. You will not be graded for any marking made on the test itself, only on the question and answer sheet. After reading the test, answer the 10 questions on the question and answer sheet. Be sure to include the entire key fact in your answer. It is not necessary to write in grammatically complete sentences. It is highly recommended that you use the blank sheet of paper for important notes from the reading. These notes will be essential for Part 2 of the assessment. You will be able to keep only the sheet of paper with your notes for the second part of the exam. Keep the test and question and answer sheet face down until you are asked to start. You will have 20 minutes to complete the reading comprehension. The instructor will indicate when these 20 minutes begin. The instructor will then announce when there are 5 remaining minutes and when there is 1 final minute. After the 20 minutes have passed, the instructor will collect the reading test and the question and answer sheet. You will keep the written notes that you made on the blank sheet of paper for the second part of the assessment. Please write your full name, your individual test serial number, and other details clearly in the space provided on the question and answer sheet you receive. Good luck. Introduction. This is the second section of the UNPOL Combined Language Assessment. It is divided into 2 parts. In the first part, you will hear one person describing the mission-related topic you have just read about in the reading comprehension. It will be introduced as the narrative. In the second part, you will hear a conversation between 2 people who are discussing the same mission-related topic. It will be introduced as the dialogue. Please be reminded that the use of any computer devices, microphones, books, external notes, or assistance from others is not permitted. Candidates who fail to observe appropriate conduct during this test will be excluded from the assessment process. Such actions will be duly noted and communicated in writing to the authorities of the member state concerned and to the SAAT coordinator in the UN Police Division. You will be given a report writing form and another blank sheet of paper. Take careful notes on the blank sheet of paper of both the narrative and the dialogue. Pay attention to the important facts and key information. You will hear the recording only one time. Once the narrative and dialogue are finished, you will be asked to use your notes from both the reading and the audio parts to write down your own complete police report. You will have 30 minutes to complete your police report. The instructor will indicate when these 30 minutes begin. The instructor will then announce when there are 5 minutes remaining and when there is 1 final minute. Please do not forget to write your full name, your individual test serial number, and other details clearly in the spaces provided on the report writing sheet. Good luck. Narrative. References made to a case report dated 18th February 2012. Investigators arrived at the scene at 0500 hours to conduct an interview with the waitress, Anna Maria. She stated that Shaban owned the nightclub and that Isa came into the club at least 4 times a week. She stated Isa was the only customer in the bar that night. She said that Shaban and Isa ran an illegal drug business from the bar for a number of years. Isa would bring in money and orders to Shaban, who would then take the money over the border, buy the drugs, and bring them back to the nightclub. Shaban had a brother who worked at the border crossing, and he would cross whenever he knew his brother was working. Isa would later deliver the drugs to customers. However, business was failing in recent months, which led to the 2 men to often arguing. Around 0330 hours, 18th of February, 2012, Shaban and Isa were drinking together, and they suddenly began arguing and shouting at each other. Shaban punched Isa. Isa doubled over in pain and could not breathe for a moment, and leaned against the bar for support. Isa then grabbed a knife from the bar, threatening to stab Shaban if he didn't leave him alone. In reaction, Shaban drew his pistol from under his jacket and shot Isa. Shaban tried to phone his brother to see if he was working at the border that night, but got no answer. He then ran out of the back door of the club and got into a black Mercedes with registration Moonlight 1. Anna Maria gave police a photograph of Shaban standing beside his car. It clearly showed the license plate and Shaban. She said that when Shaban left the club, he was wearing a black leather jacket. The police transmitted the description and photographs of Shaban to all border crossings. Anna Maria believed that Shaban would try to leave the country if he could, and that he would probably try to go out of border gate Alpha 22, because it was the closest to the drug supplier's house where he would feel safe. Dialogue.
Police officer, please state your name and age for the record.
Witness, Anna Maria, 32.
What is your occupation?
I am a waitress at the nightclub Moonlight. I have worked there since 2001.
Were you working at the nightclub on the morning of 18th February 2012?
Yes, I was.
Please tell us what you saw happen that night.
It was very quiet that time. There were no other customers in the bar except for Isa. He comes into the bar at least 4 times a week.
Why does he come into the bar that often?
He had a drug business with Shaban, the bar owner. Isa would bring in drug orders and the money to pay for them. Shaban would take the money over the border and buy the drugs. Shaban's brother works at one of the border crossings, so Shaban would cross whenever he knew his brother was working.
How long has this drug dealing been going on?
They have been doing this for many years. The business has been dropping off, and they began to argue recently about making money. They were arguing just before the shooting.
What were Shaban and Issa doing just before the shooting?
They were having drinks together. Everything seemed okay at first, and then I heard them begin to shout at each other. I didn't know what was being said, but they were loud.
What happened after that?
Then Shaban punched Issa in the stomach. It was so hard that Issa doubled over and could not breathe for a minute. He leaned on the bar for support. Suddenly he reached for a knife flying on the bar and turned to Shaban. Issa told him to leave him alone or he would stab him.
Did he stab Shaban or try to stab him?
No, he just held the knife and told Shaban to leave him alone.
Then what happened?
Shaban grabbed a gun from under his jacket and shot one time. Issa fell to the floor.
Okay. What happened next?
Shaban tried to call his brother, who works at the border, to see if he was there. He did not get an answer. Shaban ran to his car and drove away.
Where do you think he would go?
I'm sure he would drive to gate Alpha 22 because it is closest to his drug supplier's house, and if he can cross the border, he will be safe.
Do you know any information about Shaban's car?
Yes. It is a black Mercedes with registration Moonlight 1. I have a picture of Shaban and his car. Do you want to have it?
Yes, that would be very helpful. Can you tell us what he was wearing when he left the bar?
Yes. He was wearing a black leather jacket.
Okay. Can you think of anything else to tell us?
No, not at this time.
Thank you. This will conclude our interview. If we need more information, we will contact you.
Thank you.